Hello, a very good evening, me hotties and Dinky-Doo. It's just me, Scottie McClue. Welcome, 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 I say, to our Saturday evening live. Lovely to be with you with 1 hour of superb, scintillating information, education, and entertainment for not just one nation, but for all the nations of the world. So good that you're with us, and thank you very much. Good evening to Derek, of course, joining us on the TikTok. The lines will be open and we can get some chat going. Do you like tonight's red? Beautiful yellow roses. I would say gold roses, pure gold. Hi from Cumbernauld. Hi, Angela. Dinky-Doo. Hello, Big Scottie. Hello there. Dinky-Doo. I say to you, lots to talk about, but we did pop up earlier and we had a lovely, lovely chat on both the TikTok and the YouTube channel. Good evening, Scottie. Mersey Basin, how lovely to have you with us. And thank you for coming and joining us, Dinky-Doo. Ron, what are you doing? Ron is giving me red roses. Is that not just beautiful? 10 red roses there. Richard Tan is giving me red roses as well. We have set a little goal. You'll see it there on the old TikTok, but you never, ever have to give Scottie McClue anything. We are free at the point of delivery. Hiya, Scottie. Hiya, Celtic Chaos. And Neve says, hi, Scottie. Hi, Neve. Lovely to have you with us. Beth says, hello as well. We like that. That is tremendous. And, of course, we've got you on the YouTube channel as well. I can see everybody there. Thank you for that. And a very warm welcome to you guys. Hi, Scottie. Shout out to Jody, please. Baha, says Neve. Wonderful stuff. Thank you, Celtic Chaos, for my red roses. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Everybody's very generous tonight with the red roses. Hi from Beth, Dinky-Doo. Scottie, I hope you're well. Richard, I am, and I thank you for all your wonderful kindness. And please get following on the TikTok. And also, guys, TikTokers, go up to the little bio there, and you'll see the YouTube channel. Tonight, I would love to see subscribers to the YouTube channel. And it's so easy. You just tap the link. It'll take you right there. And then you can come straight back, subscribe. There's A.L. Bryce, the poor man's George Galloway. A.L. Bryce, I think you're being harsh on yourself there. If you're on Scottie McClue, then you're well up the food chain. So there you are. I wouldn't call you that. So there you go. Your shirt tail's hanging out? Of course it is, John. Absolutely. George, thoughts on Mr. George Galloway? I thought it was incredible. I mean, the man is there, and he's in place, isn't he? You know, he's there. Very, very clever man, George. He banned me from his Twitter, of course, because he was calling his show the mother of all talk shows. And I said, your show might be the mother of all talk shows, but Scottie McClue is the daddy of them all. That's why I feel sorry for that poor soul calling himself the poor man's George Galloway. Who's in the painting behind you? That's me. That's Scottie McClue. Scottie, a shout out for Neve, Beth, and Jenny. Absolutely. Yes, shout it out. I say to you, evening, Scottie. I prefer the tweed bonnet. Right. This is for Alan McGee, guys. We're going to swap bonnets. He prefers the tweed one. So I think he should have the tweed one. There we go, Alan. Happy boy now. There we go. Fantastic. Now, hello all. Hello, Kareem. How lovely to have you with us. And a big Dinky-Doo, I say. Never scroll and never twirl. He blocked me on Twitter too. Celtic Chaos, did he? I don't know why such a bold politician and such a clever man should block people who are, obviously fans of his oratorial style. What's your thoughts on the UK government? Well, John, they're in a mess, aren't they? They've got themselves right up a one-way street. They were so busy stuffing their pockets and rifling the till, they haven't actually had a look at what they can do for the people. So I think they'll have to pay for that at the ballot box. That's what I say. I mean, we've got another unelected prime minister, that sort of stuff. Very, very strange. Hi, David. Sorry for last night, Dinky-Doo. It says, David. Hi, David. David's saying hi, David. Are you saying hi to yourself, David? I tell you. Rocking around the clock, Red Rose Radio. Absolutely, we loved it. He blocked me because I roasted him about independence. Yes, I find his stance on independence rather strange. For a man that's as clever as that, he should realise that Scotland has been taken for a mug for 317 years. And he was talking, his defence was, how can you have independence in a country that wouldn't have its own currency? Of course it would have its own currency. Has you never heard of the Irish punt? There we are, I tell you. Go on yourself, pal. Thoughts on the Huns score today? Well, what can I say? I tell you. What I've done, guys, I've put up a little video tonight on Rangers or Celtic, a question people ask me, and I say, go and see them both play and make your mind up. Hey, mate, I used to listen to you every night when I was younger on the radio. Wow, Scottish. Dinky-Doo, well, now you're slightly older. You're still listening to me on the radio. Good man, Scotty, I'm with you. Dinky-Doo. Big fire in Aberdeen. I saw that, Martin. Yes, there's a lot of tragedy goes on round about. Scotty, it's Jerry, the #1 van driver of Scotland in the West. Great show as ever, they say. Hello to my wee Coco, the best jockey of Scotland. Love to you, Jerry, and to Coco, and to your good lady. Yes, indeed. I meant last Saturday. Oh, David, yes. No, we were worried about you last Saturday. Everybody was on as David, okay. So there we are. Just shows you. You're a class act, Scotty. The boy from Bonnyrig in Rose Midlothian. Yes, indeed. I know Bonnyrig well. I used to shop in Dalkeith. Richard, what are you doing? Richard Tan, the kindest man in the world, is giving Scottie McClue an abundance of red roses. I tell you. Who's this phoning? You're live on Scottish phoning. Who's that?
Scotty, it's Kareem. How you doing?
Kareem, how you doing, La? You Dinky-Doo?
I'm very well, thank you. It's good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you, absolutely. What's happening with you? Kareem, I was telling you, I think we made a breakthrough this morning on the YouTube channel. So I think it's going to be very, very hard work because this is just the way I see it. I could be wrong, but the so-called algorithm likes to focus on what is your channel about? What do you do? And my channel's about everything. Now that must throw the algorithm. Do you see what I mean? We might be discussing politics 1 minute, diesel engines the next, cars the next, history the next, geography. Do you see what I mean? So we're actually too much for the algorithm.
Yeah. Oh, but it's good that it's focused in, and we know what to do now to get to the viewers and to get them to watch.
Well, there's the lovely Celtic Chaos heading to your YouTube page to subscribe. Thank you, Celtic Chaos. If we can get everybody subscribing, that's the thing. It's getting subscribers. I mean, 5,000 subscribers. It's lovely, but it should be 500,000. 500,000 for Scottie McClue is not fantasy land. You know what I mean?
No, I know, Scotty. I know. But it'll get there.
We will get there.
They're always going.
Yep, and we'll get the word out and what have you. And if everybody just starts sharing and sharing and sharing, you know.
Absolutely. It's been certainly a busy week within the political realm.
Aha! Never a dull moment, I tell you.
Yes. Mr. George Galloway has been elected back as MP.
I saw that. Very interesting. And I mean, what an articulate guy. You've got to hand it to him. But he needs to have a think. This shouting down independence, I mean, surely he can see what has happened to Scotland over the last 300 years.
I think what I admire, I agree with him on a lot of things, and I think he is very articulate. And I think if you've seen the video, Scotty, when he went over to, is it Congress, whatever, in America, and where they tried to, link him with Iraq and Saddam.
It was the Senate. It was the Senate, I think, did he not? Right? I think he wiped the floor with the senators.
It was too quick, and if anyone's listening, have a watch. It's a really good video.
Yeah.
It really puts him to shame. But I agree with you, Scottie. I think the only thing I don't agree with him is his stance and view on Scottish independence.
Yes.
I think it's Dorky Nation. I've said that. I was on a live the other day, and I think when it comes to that topic, you can have the smartest people, and we've spoke about this before, a fog comes over them, and they just cannot see sense. It's really, really scary.
Well, I think it's because they are not, you see, I can step back from anything, Kareem, and have a look. And if I was emotionally involved in something to too far an extent, I would step back, because I would say, no, you're not looking at the logic here. Now, the logic is that the union, there is no case for it. It was very badly put together. They pulled the rug from under the Scots on every single corner. They're still doing it. And Scotland's income is getting frittered in Westminster and pocketed between Westminster and Europe, you see. And what I would say, if it's not about money, I would say, all right, how about if we don't go for full independence, but we do have full fiscal autonomy and we keep every penny of our income? Would you be all right with that, Westminster?
They would talk that down. They would come up with certain excuses.
You see,
but I think what's happening is very dangerous just now as well for the evolution, because as you know, you've got two councils now that are rejecting the council freeze, which is a very, very dangerous game. You have got people's lives, affected due to this cost of living, and you've got one council putting up 10% and another council putting up 8.2%.
Yes, and these two particular councils, we won't actually mention them, although everybody knows who they are, but these two particular councils, Kareem, are in two of the most challenged areas of Scotland.
Yeah, well, again, Scottie, people are talking about you have to take responsibility, and the way I view it is if these people are voting, it's Tory and Labour joint administration in these councils, and yet again, people in these areas are going to vote Labour in those areas for MPs. I mean, and the saying goes, you can't fix stupid. So if they enjoy the price hikes, if they're enjoying the poverty, by all means, continue the path they're going down. But, it's mind-boggling. The people have to wake up.
Yeah, they do. Kareem, we'll leave it at that, because what you've said there is beautifully powerful.
Thank you very much, Scottie.
And we shall catch up again soon.
Bye, Scottie.
DINKY-DOO, sir. There we are. That's our Kareem. Always a very, very good call. And he knows his stuff. And we love that. Good to see you're okay, David, says David. Yes, absolutely. I'm having my dinner, pea and ham soup without the chicken advert. We'll get smashed potatoes with a couple of Martians tin men. Jerry is having his supper and he's describing it to us. So there we are. Fantastic stuff. Lovely, lovely. John Donnelly says he's a Brexiteer. Aha. Right. Amazing, John. Hi, everybody. DINKY-DOO. Hi, Susan. And hi, David. My council is Labour/Tory. So there we are. Great call as usual, Kareem. Absolutely, Susan. Always a fabulous call. But what Kareem's just said is very powerful, and I wanted that to sink in. So there were. Thank you for heading over to the YouTube page, guys. It would be lovely to finish tonight with a huge subscribership to the YouTube channel. And as I say, if you're on TikTok, it's up in the bio there. We tap with your finger. Oh, there's his YouTube channel. Subscribe. Oh, tap your way back to the TikTok. Fantastic. That's what it's all about. If you've just joined us, a very, very warm welcome. You're watching Scottie McClue, #FlowTie, the first lord of the internet, all uppercase. And there we have it, the world's top broadcaster and the world's most humble man. I wouldn't like anybody to think I'm getting big on it. What's your take on American politics? Is it all going to fall apart? No, Barlow one. It's all going to come together. It's falling apart at the moment because all the corruption is being exposed. The electoral interference is being exposed. The level that they're going for Donald Trump just shows how much they're fearing the truth coming out. And that's what's going to happen. Donald is going to cut the head off the snake. He's going to drain the swamp. And then he's going to empty out all the corruption that's been going on for a long time. You know, absolutely. And of course, America's been issuing money that it can't back, and it's owing money throughout the world. So there's going to have to be some changes. So there we are. Now, what have we got here? Radio Clyde's 50th birthday bash at the Hydro. Are you on the show, or have you been invited? I haven't been invited, and I did work for Clyde. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
It's me, I'm back. It's David.
David, son. Yes, do you know the depth of feeling for you, the worry and the despair last week? They were all going daft, going, is David okay, do you think, Scottie?
Something major happened within my household.
David, you do not have to tell everybody, because that is your business, and we understand. And I actually said, well, it might be personal, you know, or he might be dealing with something, he might be dealing with John or something else.
That's right.
You know?
The phone was never stolen. Everybody was phoning me once, you know what I mean?
I know, son. But you're all right.
I'm good, son. I am good.
You're a great man. You're a great man. Now, what's a busy week?
Right, so I'm glad Kareem phoned. Kareem's just, we know what Kareem's all about. He's a cracking person.
Was that not a lovely call, though, and powerful?
Aye, yeah, I mean, so, you know? Mr. Gallagher, I mean... Mr.
Galloway.
Aye, okay, so, hi, Mr. Gallagher. Gallagher, excuse me.
That's right, Gallagher. Aha.
It's sworn in this Monday.
Yes.
It's going to be hell in that big parliament.
Oh, it'll be very interesting. It'll make it interesting because it's been so dull recently. I know we had all that stuff with the speaker when somebody was trying to pull a fast one, all that kind of idea. But you know, I mean, it's not been terribly interesting because some of these guys in the Tory party are so wealthy, they're not really into the actual politics. They're just saying whatever they think should be said at the time. And what we need as people is folk who are right into the politics are going, I want this for the people. Never mind all your elites, all your money, all your corruption. We want this for the people.
Never, again, I can go on Rishi's talk the other night on the news. Oh, come on, right? Shut up, you, Rishi.
Well, as George did say, George has been elected by the people. Rishi hasn't, so he can't really talk about democracy.
Did you hear that speech? Of course
I did. Of course I did. I missed nothing. I could even tell you what time it is right now.
You know what I mean? He said, he's talking, we are terrorists, not them.
Not them, I know. There's Celtic Chaos is headed to YouTube, subscribed and come back. Is that not wonderful?
There you go, of course.
Do you know, Davey, what I would love tonight? A present to me would be loads of subscribers to the YouTube channel. It costs nothing, and it's well worth it. You know?
That's right, son. I understand. You know, my friend, it's good.
I'd love to, because we moved it this morning. I was up this morning, Davey, and I saw a big difference in that channel.
Right. There you go. That's amazing, son. You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm thinking is, maybe if I just sat on for a few days, you know, if I got a wee holiday from work, sat on for a few days, and just saw who was about, you know what I mean? And if there's only a handful, it doesn't matter.
So, see, let's celebrate something you've been on this YouTube for how long now?
Oh, well, no, I've had the channel for about 12 years.
Wow, right, so we can celebrate. Now we can put up the balloons, right?
We can put the balloons up, but I was only using it really as a repository for a lot of the videos from Scottie McClue over the years. So it was like a wee library. But now we've actually got it active. It's a live thing. And the problem is we need to get them interested so they put it round and then it builds and builds and builds, you see.
We need your voice all the time until one day you're not here. Right?
Well, if I'm not here, this is the problem, you know?
You know what I mean? As I say, I've always said this here, I'm going to say it again. I don't care about this stupid, silly radio stuff because they don't want you to idiots.
No, we just leave that because, listen, that's dying on its backside. There's no great talk shows out there. I know that Scottie McClue was the king of the talk shows. And as I say, George Galloway blocked me for saying, yours might be the mother of all talk shows, but I'm the daddy of them all. They love it.
I mean, did you see him the other night? A reporter from Sky TV, and he was trying to rip George apart, and this guy and George.
Oh, you'll not listen. You'll never rip him apart.
And everybody was surrounding it, and I was like, "This is Gold TV, by the way."
Oh, it's wonderful. Listen, there's going to be a lot more. The man is so clever. He's highly entertaining. And they'll not rip. Listen, if they think they're going to rip him apart, forget it. You know?
I know.
I wouldn't mind a good face-to-face with them myself. But I wouldn't be out to rip him apart. I would be there for a right good chat. And I would have said to him about the independence. What do you mean, no currency? We can have a currency at the drop of a hat. Even the governor of the Bank of England said that.
Years ago, he was going to help me out. Years ago, I stayed in Hill Head with my ex-missus.
He was the MP for Hill Head, that's right.
And I phoned his office regarding a situation. And because the situation was getting out of hand, and I was like, I need your support, George. You know, but anyway, that problem that year, the old days, I made the people listen to me.
Of course, everybody listens to you now. They love you. They were going daft last week. Is David all right, Scottie? Scottie, is David okay? Scottie, what about David? Have you heard? I was getting that all week.
I need to sign up there. I need to get him a plaque for that, you know.
Absolutely. There's Elise. Do you remember Elise phoned us one night? Scottie, well said about Donald J. Trump. I have just finished watching his rally in NC. I imagine that's North Carolina. And Jerry says, wish we had Donald.
I saw that on many texts. I said on many texts. I did many texts.
Yes, Donald does PM, and George is the opposition. There you go.
I mean, I see there's a girl tonight on YouTube. She said, I like the Tories and Labour. Well, that is up to her.
No, listen, I'm telling you, two cheeks. He summed it up. He said two cheeks of the same backside. You know, I mean, I say two cheeks of the same face, just because I like the big fearty language. You know what I mean? But two cheeks of the same backside. You know, you're not going to get that. Listen, this country is not going to benefit from a Labour government. I'll tell you that right now. But I was laughing. I had to laugh because the Conservatives have got their conference at the moment. And they were saying, you know, how wonderful one of the former people was, and they would do well. And I thought, this is comedy gold.
It's comedy gold.
You know,
it's outrageous. What I'm noticing, what I'm witnessing.
That's nonsense.
You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what I think they should do. They should have strengthened the Scottish Parliament, right? Not even necessarily the Scottish government. The Scottish Parliament, see what I did there, and only have parties who are pro and independent Scotland.
Yeah.
So your Labour, your Tories, your Greens, your Liberals, your Social Democrats, your SNP, they're all pro-independence. They're all for Scotland's economy and start rebuilding it. Yes.
I start rebuilding it.
And instead of billions being handed away for arms and all the rest of it, you know, under the guise of aid, get that money into Scotland to start rebuilding Drumchapel.
It's a,
yes. Modernising Moss Park. Yes.
That's right.
Knightswood, getting the buses running for you in Knightswood, all that. Brilliant. Get the ferries, steamships, going away to the islands, 2 a day.
Yeah, brilliant, Scotty. What a great talk. There's a guy in my Knightswood Park, he's a soldier. He's sleeping in the park in his tent.
Oh, ridiculous.
He's on TikTok, and people try to support the guy in Knightswood Park, including myself. I'm trying to do something, Scotty, right?
You're a top man.
It's unbelievable.
I had to apologise to a homeless man one night. After the show, I used to walk the dog in a big park, and the dog would take off. Sometimes you would see a fox come belting past you with the dog in his tail, and I would shout, "Wreathy, leave him alone." Anyway, then he wanders up to a bench, and I just saw him wagging his tail, and this guy going, "Oh, for God's sake, what's happening?" And this poor soul was sleeping in the park bench, and the dog had given him a kiss. The dog had gone up and given him a kiss and wakened him up. You know? So I had to say, I'm sorry about that. And he went, "Oh, you're all right."
No, you say a dog is your best friend.
Oh,
but, you know,
he was a great guy, that one. He was a great guy.
I see your videos with the Labrador, and I love all that. Do you know what I mean?
He was lovely. The two of them were Reith. That's Reith behind me in the picture. He was just amazing, and he used to love getting his photo taken. If you produced a camera in those days, or no phones, you produced a camera, he would sit down and go, "How do you want me?" Whereas Clyde, if you produced a camera, Clyde walked off.
Great brains.
Huge.
Great brains, wow.
Well, you look at him in that picture there, Davey. Is that not perfect?
Amazing, son, yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah. I can't see you both, but he's in the lovely picture. I've seen him before.
You've seen him. Can you see him there? He's just above the roses.
Well, you've got a picture there yourself. You've got 2 pictures above the roses.
There he is, just above the roses.
Turn round to see. It's 2 pictures of you each side.
That's right. That's right. You. Well, there's Reith. There's Lord Reith, just under my hands. Can you see him?
I can't see him because I can only see you being funny. I can see 2 of your pictures on my screen. But I can't see what
right. Well, see the picture. Oh, I see what you're saying. Can you? Have you got him?
It's because the actual picture.
Well, it's because he's jet black and my gown's black as well. There he's there.
I see he went his eye. Brilliant, sorry, sir.
That's him. No bother. I wanted you to see him. Fantastic. So listen, apart from having a tough time, though, how are you? Are you quite excited about all the carry-on?
I'm very excited, but something bad happened in my street last Monday.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I saw one of my neighbours he's a sheepdog, right?
Right.
And I said last Monday at the bus stop, I went, "There's something wrong with Max. Max is beautiful as a sheepdog."
Well, we'll not get into all the personal stuff, but I know what you mean.
Oh, he was killed with antifreeze.
Oh no.
Next day he was gone.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Davey. I
know, son of his head, but we're trying to do something to his man and his wife.
Yes, look after them. You're a lovely man. You're a great man. You're always looking after folk. I hope folk are looking after you.
Oh, they try their best, you know.
You know?
I love being a bit alone. I
know what you mean. Well, a wee bit peace and quiet's never a problem, Davey. I don't find such a thing as lonely because I'm always reading. I go, I better get this read because if somebody asks me and I don't know the answer, you know what I mean? So I suppose I'm effectively, Davey, there's an appointment. It's a university appointment and it's called Reader. That's all it is, Reader. Now, it's professorial level. And I used to think when I was younger, I want to be the reader at the university. I would imagine the reader reads all the material for the courses. Thinks, I know we can use that, you see. So you're spending your day reading.
Silence is golden. John's like, I used to read back in the day, but see, when it's really a pin drop. You get me? It's amazing.
Well, nowadays, folk are not reading because they're on their phones all the time.
No, too much of the phone stuff.
Too much of the phones. That's why I was suggesting, Davey, I don't know if you saw it, but I was suggesting that, do you remember when the telly used to shut down? I used to say good night to everybody, good night all. You know, that's right. And then it went beep.
I was quite younger then.
So of course. Off your bed. That's the telly finished. Away your bed. I bet I think we should do the same with the internet. You see, shut it down at midnight, and then folk have to go to their beds.
I mean, see that TikTok? I'm never at it.
I love it. I love it. It's brilliant. And I love the Scottie McCLUE'S massive on it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Wonderful.
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Do you want to say hello to Scottie? Do you want to say hello to him?
He's shouting hello. Shout hello. Just shout hello.
He shouted hello.
Hello. We love it. Davey, that was lovely to hear you. I'd better press on or they'll be going daft. But it's lovely to hear you. DINKY-DOO. That's your Davey. Great character. I'm so glad he's okay. George III says we'd have had a lot more to spend in Drumchapel. So there we are. Had they not handed billions of surplus back to the Treasury? Well, why would you do that? We need to keep our own money. Scottie will always be the top man in Scotland. What a career. Entertained us all for years and years and still going strong. David, thank you so much. You're such a lovely man and you're very kind to me. But we haven't even scratched the surface yet. But I cannot persuade the television people to give me an evening show. I think this would be huge. An hour a night. Scottie McClue, you say, there we are. We're just finished with our politics show tonight. And coming up, of course, Scottie McClue. Oh, and then we could get the chat going. But we'll do it on here. But we need everybody subscribing to the YouTube channel. Yes, going on there. The URL's there. Can you turn your sound up a bit, Scottie? Jerry, I don't know how I would do that. I think probably the sound's going down a wee bit. Is anybody else finding it quiet? I think you'll have to turn it up, Jerry. I love a bridge to be built from Greenock to Roseneath. Yeah, the only thing is that is a stunningly beautiful view. And I can remember at school, I was a rower and we used to row. And we would go for a run around Roseneath. And when I first saw it, I thought, there's been money here at some point. And then I found out there was a massive, massive mansion called Roseneath House, funnily enough. What about that for original? And Roseneath House, I think it lasted till almost the 1960s. And the people that were in Roseneath House was the Lornes, the Marquis of Lorne. And he was married to Queen Victoria's daughter, Princess Louise, who only died in 1939. So, you know, Queen Victoria commanded that Princess Louise should marry the Marquis of Lorne. And I think if I remember back, the Marquis was actually on the other bus, if you get my meaning, you know. He was on the other bus. So all that sort of stuff. Anyway, that was that. And they lived in Roseneath House. And all that greenery up the hillsides was known as Argyle's Bowling Green. Isn't that beautiful? So the Marquis of Lorne was heir to the Dukedom of Argyle. The sound of silence, do you mean a pin drop? Can you not hear Scottie? Says David. Just faint, says Jerry. David, can you hear me clear as a bell? Because I don't think I could turn the sound up anymore, unless it was maybe for David. I could maybe turn David's sound up a bit more. Jerry, was David quiet? It must be my laptop. But tell us, Jerry, was David quiet? That's the one. Now, what have we got here? Let's vote who wants Scottie to stand for the Prime Minister of Scotland. So should we have a First Minister and a Prime Minister? I always thought there should be the office of President of Scotland above the First Minister, and they should maybe have given that to Alex Salmond. You know, I can't think of anybody more deserving than Alex for that one. Jerry says, we want Scottie as the next First Minister. So there we go. Donald J. Trump. I think we all want Donald J. Trump in there. That's what I say. Guys, get following as soon as you can. We need more followers. What do we got here? Sapling Scottie says, Ryan, DINKY-DOO, Ryan. Do you remember Wee Fat Bob? I do, of course I do. I worked with Wee Fat Bob. We used to have a lot of banter. Sadly, Wee Fat Bob passed away about maybe a month or 2 months ago. And I saw that on the internet. What do you think of George Galloway? Well, George Galloway is a remarkable character, a remarkably resilient character, and a wonderful orator, and a wonderful speaker, and a very clever man. And he's a heavyweight in politics. We've got too many lightweights at the moment. So, you know, it's quite exciting that we've got George Galloway just to kind of sober up the mob that have been stuffing their pockets and rifling the till. So there you are. So a bridge across to Roseneath. But Jerry, think about it. Once you got to Roseneath, where are you going to go? You could go down to Kilcreggan and Cove. You could go round the other side to Clinder. And then you could probably meet up with the road round the head of the Gairloch, but you've got a lot of MOD stuff there. So, you know, I think they're a little bit careful about who goes up and down the Gairloch. Yes, I can, Scottie. It's nice and loud. said David. Jerry, it must be your laptop, son. I'm sorry. But there you go. I think that's what's happened. Yeah. Oh, fine, I know, Scottie. Someone even said you're just getting started. Well, we are, David. I mean, we moved forward on the YouTube channel this morning, but we must get everybody subscribing. I mean, it's lovely. I've got 5,000 subscribers. Whoop-de-doo. That's very, very much appreciated. But it should be around the 500,000 mark by now. Even 1 million is nothing to Scottie McClue, as you know, because we used to have 250,000 every half hour every night for 3 hours. So there we go. And George the Third. Yes, I can, Scottie. It's nice and loud. So there we go. Right. Now, sad to hear about wee Fat Bob. Yes, indeed, Neil. He wasn't very old. I think he might have been about 61. And as I say, he and I had quite a lot of banter. He took over from me when I went on to the mornings. And the mornings were brilliant. People said, that was your problem, Scottie, because we had such a huge audience. It was nearly putting other radio stations out of business. So there you are. It was a bit mystical the way I went because there was no reason for it. I can tell you that, apart from the fact that I was a huge commercial threat to any other broadcast. Scottie, how's yourself this fine evening? George, we're outstanding this fine evening. And it's so good that we've had a chat to David and that he's okay. Maybe Scottie's done a lap dance. We love it. George, a Scottish Trump. Well, no, Donald Trump is a remarkable man. He's 77. And people go on, oh, he's a narcissist. That he's not a narcissist. I've actually worked with a narcissist. The only bad man I've ever met in my life took money off me in a business deal. One very bad man. And he was definitely what you'd call a malignant narcissist. So Donald Trump is the very antithesis of a narcissist. Very clever, successful, powerful man. Just what we're needing as a leader on the world stage. All right? Have we all got that now? Where McClue's coming from? Sorry, I not turned the sound up on my YouTube. Jerry, what are you like? Have you got it now? Is it cleared? Lovely man, Jerry. You're a great man. I can hear you both, Davey, perfectly clear, Scottie. Thank you, David Taylor. You're a top man. Wee Fat Bob was a guest of mine at one of my hotel gigs. Yes, Neil, well, he'd be very good. Bob was very good at delivering an ad hoc performance. He was actually very entertaining, quite a talented wee guy. I followed wee fat Bob. You done good to that man. And to me, you were the same, listening to people. Yes, indeed, David, we do listen, apart from to the Dafties. You know, we had to let the Dafties go. I don't know if you saw this week, I put up a series of 12 one-minute snippets of a man who had nothing to say. So you'll see that on the YouTube. Guys, get on to that. I tell you. There's Paco says, beam me up, Scotty Goodwood, Paco. Hi from Gourock, it's me, Scotch Eggs. Lovely to have you with us. Aberdeen were robbed. Oh, yes, of course. So there we are. Is the king nearly gone? Says Willie. I think probably his conditions a lot worse than we're being told. That's my reading of the situation. I tell you. There we go. Good evening to you from Sweden, says Lars. Lars, how lovely to have you with us. And a very good evening to you, to Svenska. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on The Live. A Labour government will benefit the country. I find both parties are the same line, very cynical and incorrect. They said the same about Blair. What did we get? A brilliant, successful government. Well, George III, we didn't actually. Blair took us to war, and took us to war under false pretenses. So that's not too brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But Blair, the one thing I will say about Blair, he made it quite clear that Labour were unelectable if they're left wing in this country, because you see, the city won't back them. That's the thing. And I once said to a top financier, what difference does it make if the government is Labour or Tory? And he went, absolutely none at all. Isn't that lovely? So it doesn't make any difference. They're what the city call a safe set of hands. They were getting a bit jittery about Mr. Corbyn because he was a genuine Labour man. So they managed to kind of, jiggery-pokery him out of there. Will future coronations be as expensive as the last Willie song? I'm not too bothered about the expense of a coronation. What was the last one? Was it 100 million? If they can hand away 100 billion to one European company during the pandemic, that's 100 billion of your money, taxpayers' money, handed away to one company. If they can hand away 150 million for Duff PPE, if they can fritter 250 billion on Brexit, if they can take 45 billion out of Scotland every year, well, 75 billion out of Scotland, but they give us 28 billion back, then I'm sorry, but the cost of a coronation, help yourself, you know what I mean? As much champagne and burgers as you like, I am not bothered. But what I am delighted about Willie's song is hearing from you. As you know, I am a massive fan. Do you remember the birds from Alfred Hitchcock? Who was it? Russell Crowe, Ren, George Segal, and Walter Pigeon. Russell Crowe, George Segal, Walter Pigeon. Very good, Jerry. I see what you just did there. Jerry, I'm not sure if it was you that was asking one night about my favourite movie. And my favourite movie, as everybody knows, is Tunes of Glory. Came out about 1960, and it's about a Scottish army regiment after the Second World War, that fallow period when they had too many men and there was too much drinking going on in the mess. Not just in the mess, everybody had too much drink for all these soldiers who had come through the Second World War. and if they'd survived, dear knows what sort of trauma they had in their head. You know, it wouldn't be helped by the alcohol, but it would probably be a bit suppressed. But anyway, it's a psychological thriller about who's going to be the new commanding officer of the regiment. Is it going to be the public schoolboy with all the training in psychological warfare, or is it going to be the guy that's come up through the regiment from being a boy piper and become colonel of the regiment? So, you know, great stars in it. You know, Duncan McCrea is in it. Who else is in it? Susanna York is in it. Alec Guinness, John Mills, Dennis Price, Alan Cuthbertson is in it. Gordon Jackson. I mean, think about this. This is an all-star cast, guys. Huge in 1960, all-star. Anyway, it didn't do as well at the box office as you would have thought, but it's my favorite movie, and I got backed up by a man called Alfred Hitchcock, who actually said he thought it was the finest movie ever made. Now, I think Alfred Hitchcock knew a thing or two about movies, don't you? I loved that movie. The birds, the noise they made. Oh, David, it was frightening. Yes, the crows pecking and squealing. Oh, all gathering. Very, very crazy. I'll tell you what I did as an experiment one night. There was a lot of crows gathering in the trees, so I went out and recorded them. And when I hear them about, I sometimes play the recording back. And it's very interesting to see them all flying around going, oh, what's going on here? So there we go. Somebody that knows a lot more about it might be able to tell us what is what. What do we got here, guys? I think there'll be a lot of Londoner up the Highlands once the sea levels rise. Yes, Welly Song, don't read too much into climate change, because there's a lot of stuff talked about it because people were hoping to make a right few quid. All right. So, of course, the climate is always changing, but apparently the Earth is overall cooling. So there's not global warming. There's just climate change. And there's also, you know, people altering weather systems, trying to do this, that, and the next thing. So there we have it. Oil companies have made billions recently. Yes, Welly Song, absolutely. And we like our oil. But oil is probably the most abundant liquid next to water. So it shouldn't actually be expensive, but they obviously want to try and control it. But, you know, I think we should have cheap oil. We should have cheap power, cheap energy. Everything should be designed for the people, and people should have their full quota of rights and freedoms. And anybody that's against that should have to pay the price. So there you go. That's what I say. Guys, if we're on the YouTube channel, has everybody subscribed? Very, very important. Get subscribing. It's the hottest year on record as each year that passes. Well, that's what they're telling you, Welly Song. But have a look at the bigger picture, and you'll find that the planet is actually cooling, and also that it's not driven by CO2 at all. But the latest generation of engine that's just been refined is hydrogen, and the output from that is water. NASA is right though. Oh, NASA. I mean, I remember my interview with NASA. They said, what do you think the job's about? I said, well, it's not rocket science, is it? You know, absolutely. No, Welly Song, listen, I'm not doubting you at all. And I know you are very keen. I'm not sure if you would call yourself an activist if you'd go that far, but I know you have a social conscience, and you're on the side of right, but just don't get too sucked in by people trying to make a few quid out of change when the change isn't actually required. That's what I say. Free gas and electricity for old age pensioners and retired people. It's not rocket science, Jerry. It's not rocket science. It is not, my boy. I tell you. So there you go. Welly Song, it's so lovely to hear from you. I hope you still listen in. I can remember doing a broadcast one night. It was just audio, and it was on Twitter, now X. And I think that was the one. And then I looked at the end, and there was one person left listening right to the very end, and that was your dear self. And that's the level of loyalty that we have from our Welly Song. There we are. There's Plunge McNugget. Evening, Scottie. You're not on the radio anymore, Dinky-Doo. Well, I haven't been on the radio for about, is it 4 years or something like that? But I have had, 32 years out of radio, and this is my 40th year since I joined ITV. June, 40 years in June. And I've been working officially for 50 years. And if you include my Saturday job, I'm in my 55th year of work. So that's not too bad. We're getting there. Another 10 years, and I think I'll take it a little bit easier. I say I have to retire in 25 years because I should be financially secure by then. I used to listen to you on the radio when I spent the summer living in a van for fun. Welly Song, yes, indeed, I see. Certainly the Cameron government's obsession with deregulation and austerity plunged Britain into a dark place. George III, there was never, ever, ever any need for austerity. If you look at the picture very closely, we've had Tories usually, but Labour will do the same now, giving us austerity all the time while they're living it up. You see, so austerity, let's look. We had the world in crisis in 1911. We had to sort that out. The First World War killed off the flower of our youth. Some of these old politicians are obsessed with killing off young people. So you had the First World War. Then between the wars, that was the war to end all wars. That was the Great War for Civilization, 1914, 1918. 14-18 war. Then 10 years after 1919, when you had Red Clydeside, you had the Treaty of Versailles. 1917, you had the Russian Revolution, the Bolsheviks, and all that. First World War kicked off with the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife at Sarajevo. Big open car. Talking to a man last week who'd seen the car. Said, I've seen the car. I love these people when you talk to people that have actually seen it. And then you had trouble all across Europe. Spain, 1936, Franco, the Republicans and that lot. France, problems. Czechoslovakia, Germany, problems in Germany, recession, that, leading up to the second lot. 10 years later, 11 years later, plunged into World War for 6 years. And if we hadn't had beautiful people like Alan Turing cracking the Enigma code, and then being pulled up for his sexual proclivity and chemically castrated to the extent the poor man took his own life when he basically had invented the computer. Injustice. Then what did we have after that? Korea in 1950. 56, Suez. They stole the Suez Canal back, nationalized that, plunged Britain into America, wouldn't back Britain. Then 1960, the wind of change blowing through Africa. 67, 68, 69, trouble in the Middle East again. I don't know. And on it went. 1948, trouble in Palestine. I knew the last governor of Palestine. So you've always had a problem. And then we had the Gulf Wars, Father Bush, and then we had Iraq, Baby Bush, and Tony Blair. So you've got all that going on. And now they're trying to kick it all off again. But I think they'll have a serious problem getting the young generation to go and give up their lives. It's great to have you on the late night show, open to everybody. TV will pay you what you want. #1 show, the new Scottie McClue show, live on STV or BBC or Sky. They should sign you up. Jerry, I've said it for years, 1 hour at night of Scottie McClue. And when they're doing the news at 10, they say, just still coming up on the news before Scottie McClue. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Good evening, Scottie. It's me, Glenn.
Glenn, how lovely to hear you,
Are
lad.
you good?
I am very good. I'm even better now because you've come on.
Brilliant. Scottie, what do you reckon to this year then regarding elections then?
Oh, well, hey, listen, I think there will be an election. The only thing is somebody said tonight they might try and start a war so that the election gets forgotten about. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
It's up in the air at the moment, then, isn't it, to be honest? I mean, it's a writings on wall, to be fair, whoever gets into it.
Oh, writings on wall. Well, I'm telling you, I would not like to be a Labour leader in this climate. And I don't know why Rishi's still turning up in the mornings, you know.
Are you convinced he's going to be next Prime Minister then, Scott?
What, Keir Starmer?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. I mean, let's just see what's happening when George gets in there.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
What kind of prime minister? What kind of prime minister do you think George might make?
It'll be a big controversial if George gets back in, Scottie, won't it?
Well, it'll be interesting because this is a man that knows the score. You see?
I mean, personally, I think Keir Starmer will get in, Scottie, if you ask me.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's what they'll shoo all that in, and the press will back them. See, we don't have an independent press. What we need more of a maverick. Yeah. I
mean, let's be fair about it, Scottie. They don't get in through qualifications, do they?
No, that's not what it's all about. It's getting, and nowadays it's becoming a bit Americanized. It's who's the richest. You know what I mean?
Exactly, they're born into it, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. What was it? There was an old American comedian. He said, "It's a club, and you ain't in it."
I think, like you said, I think it's just pure pantomime, Scottie, at times, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of banter goes on, absolutely. I mean, I've been asked to go into it, but you know, I just think, well, you know, is that the best use of my skills? Is that the most judicious use of my skills, or am I better just having a totally free rein?
Anybody could shout the obscenities across the room, to be fair.
Yeah, we don't want that. You know? What we need is opposition, but proper gentlemen or ladies, you know.
I think proper, pure, salt of the earth people, Scottie, to be fair.
Representing the people, saying, how does that square with the people?
Because otherwise, it's just pawn pieces, isn't it? You're just playing chess, really, Scottie.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know what other half live like, Scottie, to be fair, do they?
No, a lot of them don't. I think if you did ask them what does a loaf cost, I don't think they'd know.
Didn't no chance have the how hard it gets.
Now listen, Glenn, we've only got a few seconds. How are the family? Are you okay?
Yeah, we're all doing good, Scottie, not too bad. My mum's making a slow progress, you know, with
Tell her Scottie McClue's asking for her.
The main thing is at least she's still here, Scottie, isn't it? That's the main thing.
Absolutely. And it's lovely to hear from you. And I'm going to say...
It's a pleasure to hear from you, Scottie, as well. And have a good one, Scottie.
You're a top man. Dinky-Doo, Lala. We're right out of time. That was so lovely to hear from Glenn, though. Down in Sheffield. He's in the Midlands, but he's a Sheffield man. Elise says, everyone I know is now awake to everything they're up to. They might think they're in control, but the people have been pushed far enough. Interesting, Elise. Yes, indeed. Night, everybody. Thank you for being so beautiful. This is Scottie McClue saying dinky-doo to every single one of you. Stay fabulous, and I love you. Stick your tongue out and say ta-ta. Ta-ta. Ah, beautiful people and beautiful YouTubers. Ta-ta, lads.